Do you know someone who sleepwalks? Let us know in the comments down below. I'm your host Yusuf, and these are 10 chilling sleepwalking stories that will keep you up at night. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's take a nice nap. Number 10, Kenneth Parks. Kenneth Parks, a Canadian, had insomnia in his 20s, which was triggered by the loss of his employment and the significant debt he incurred as a result of his gambling addiction. On May 23, 1987, Parks got out of bed, traveled 14 miles to his in-laws' residence, used a tire iron and a knife to end his mother-in-law and injured father. He drove himself to a police station and reported himself after the event. He had been getting along well with his in-laws up to this time, and his wife attested to his lack of involvement in the crime. He was exonerated the following year. Number 9, Australian sleepwalker. A middle-aged Australian woman whose identity has been withheld out of respect for her privacy experienced severe sleepwalking problems. There isn't a lot of information available about this case, but it appears that neither she nor her boyfriend initially knew. But the reality quickly emerged, and it is much scarier than the typical sleepwalking instance. The woman would get out of bed, sleepwalk outside, and engage in intimate activities with complete strangers. The couple were unaware of this for several months. Protection was discovered all over their home, but the truth wasn't fully revealed until her partner realized she was gone one night when he woke up. After looking for her, he discovered her having relations with a stranger while sound asleep. Both the woman and her partner were in grave danger as a result of this action. Number 8, Timothy Brueggeman. Timothy Brueggeman of northern Wisconsin did not have a history of sleepwalking, but rather had years of excruciating sleeplessness. One summer, he fell asleep at the wheel and crashed his pickup truck into a tree. He was given Ambien, the most popular sleep medicine in the United States, as a result of this episode. Although this medication has been connected to numerous instances of sleepwalking, its makers maintain that it is completely safe when used as directed. But in January 2009, Brueggeman experienced a sleepwalking episode and left his residence wearing nothing but his pants. The following day, after being frozen until his demise, he was discovered. Number 7, James Currens. James Currens has been a sleepwalker for a very long time, but his scariest experience took place when he was 77 years old. In 1998, Currens got out of bed and strolled directly into a neighboring pond while holding his cane. He then realized that he was in the water to his chest and was stuck in the muck, unable to escape. For a 77-year-old man, this would be terrifying enough on its own. But what made the situation more scarier was the fact that he was surrounded by alligators. He repelled them with his cane and started yelling for assistance. He was shouting and one of his neighbors heard it and dialed the police. The cops were able to release Currens by using lights to frighten the alligators away. Currens managed to escape with only minor injuries from falling into the pond. Lucky him. Number 6, Jules Lowe. In 2003, 83-year-old Edward Lowe was discovered in his garden after receiving a brutal beating. When a neighbor saw Edward's body in the driveway, they called the police, who came and took Jules, the man's son, into custody. When the incident happened, Jules and Edward had been out for a long night of drinking. Jules claimed that his bouts of sleepwalking were triggered by alcohol and that his family has a long history of the condition. He claimed that while he did end his father, he did so when he was sleeping. Jules might have been acting in self-defense because Edward was allegedly violent when intoxicated. He was exonerated of the assassination. Number 5, Luedecke. Toronto resident Luedecke attended a party in 2005. He drank a lot that night and passed out on the couch. Another partygoer who he didn't know woke him up a few hours later by shouting and pushing him. He claims that as he was pushed to the floor, he finally woke up. The 33-year-old Luedecke was charged with intimately assaulting a woman, but he claims he was dozing off and wasn't even aware of having intimate moments until he went to the toilet and noticed he was wearing protection. Even after hearing the testimony from Dr. Colin Sharipo, who claimed that this is a valid disease, the judges at first expressed skepticism about his defense. The fact that not one but 4 of Luedecke's ex-girlfriends testified that they all had personal experiences with his insomnia when they were dating may have been the deciding factor in this case. Number 4, frightening heights. In Dulwich, England, around 2 in the morning, a man was making his way home when he somehow caught sight of something dreadful. a female curled up on top of a dormant crane. He dialed 911, and it wasn't until a fireman followed her up the stairs that they realized she was dozing off. The situation became much more terrifying as a result of the fireman's increased fear of waking her in case she was startled and fell. He searched her and discovered the girl's mobile phone, after which he called her parents. They gave an explanation of the girl's frequent sleepwalking before ringing her phone to rouse her. The girl was awakened by this and brought safely down after ascending 130 feet or 39.6 meters. Number 3. Lesley Cusack. A 55-year-old English woman named Lesley Cusack practices sleep eating in Cheshire. This may seem innocuous enough, but there are a number of reasons why it might be really risky. Because Lesley can consume up to 2,500 calories at night, she had to alter her diet for the day and join a fitness center. But there are other risks beside how much she consumes. She uses a gas oven to cook while she sleeps as well. If she leaves the gas running unlit, everyone in the house is obviously in grave danger. Finally, there is a risk to her health caused by what she eats rather than how much or how she prepares it. Lesley will occasionally consume inedible substances like Vaseline, paint, and washing powder. In an attempt to wake herself up, she installed alarms on her doors, but to no avail. She will now see a doctor who she hopes can treat her ailment. Number 2. Stuart Miller. Younger people experience sleepwalking more frequently than adults do. Approximately 17% of people aged 4 to 8 sleepwalk, compared to 4 to 10% of adults. Stuart Miller fell when he was sleepwalking. In September 1993, Stuart started sleepwalking one night. He fell from his bedroom window that evening while residing in a social housing flat on the 4th story. The Reading Borough Council, the building's owner, was found liable by the courts because they neglected to put in safe windows. Number 1. Robert Ledru. One of France's top detectives in the 19th century was Robert Ledru. He was working on a case in Le Havre, even though he resided in Paris, when he received a call from his Parisian office asking him to take over an investigation there that the local police were having trouble with. André Monet, a different Parisian, had been shot and passed away on a nearby beach. The only indicators were the culprit's footprints and the bullet, both of which were far too frequent to be of any help. Ledru discovered something terrible as he investigated the traces. On his right foot, the perpetrator was missing his big toe. The bullet was also the same brand as the one he usually used. He discovered that he had ended Monet's life while sleepwalking, believed to be brought on by his syphilis. Thanks for watching. Those were 10 chilling sleepwalking stories that will keep you up at night. Leave a like and comment if you think we missed anything, and we hope you have a scary day.